This is a brand spanking new article, okay? Like, I'd forgive them the day of if they were to release something stupid like that, because there was that full court press attempt that David DePape, I don't even know how it's pronounced, okay? A man with a giant forehead illegally in California. He's a Canadian or some expat stuff like that, living in a van down by the river, attacking husbands of prolific congressmen, or I guess in Nancy Pelosi's case, Congress paratits, Congress fossil, whatever you want to call her. Got a couple more colorful words, but we're still pretty early in this video. But they were trying to paint him as this right-wing extremist. Oh my god, he was radicalized and just, I don't know, living in a hippie commune really made him super right-wing, I guess, potentially, even though all of his neighbors, anybody that knows him, either said that he was incredibly quiet, or it's weird how far these leftists would go. Never would have expected it from somebody as devout to the cause as he was. Oh, okay, cool. So now, November 5th, days, weeks after the attack, which still sucks and all that stuff. Like, Paul Pelosi had to go get emergency surgery so his brain wouldn't fucking swell or some shit like that. But we don't really know the extent of the injuries, and not really likely to, because again, last time we talked about this, what happened to the cameras? Oh yeah, all turned off. What about the security? Yeah, didn't have any security that day, and they didn't notice anything weird to begin with, so it's like, okay, red flags are going off. And then again, you see these types of articles being written by supposed experts that are out here. Nicholas Kadaris, okay. He's not actually a psychologist, he's an OBGYN. That would be funny, okay? Because, yeah, I know some of his takes remind me of being a giant fucking pussy, so that would make sense. Big tech algorithms that fueled Paul Pelosi's attack must be stopped. Yes, a random crazy buttfucker, okay, somehow, breaks in, somehow, if we just take the company line on this one, somebody breaks in to Nancy Pelosi's mansion on Billionaires Row, okay, and then wildly attacks an elderly man with a hammer in his underwear only after the police are let into the place, okay, that's all official, that's all on the record, but more on that one in a moment, because, that's a little interesting how the official story is changing and we're being gaslit right in front of everybody's eyes. But hey man, don't find yourself in that situation, because big tech is just so out of control at this point in time. I agree, but for completely different reasons. But let's see what the expert has to say about this. The brutal hammer attack of Paul Pelosi, that'll be just annoying for everybody to listen to, of Paul Pelosi last week was by accused suspect David DePape is symptomatic of a relatively new phenomenon. Yes, he's been radicalized by all of those far right wingers that like to extol the virtues of living in a bus and having gay sex with the spouse of a congressman. Like, I don't fucking understand, right? But okay, humanity. Oh my god, now we're going to be speaking of bigger societal issues here. Now it's all of a sudden about humanity. Trust me, I've never had the urge to parade around in my tidy whities, even if I had any, with a fucking ball-peen hammer, rubber mallet, brass hammer. Like, what kind of hammer are we talking here? A 5-pound sledge? Like, we don't even know what the attack weapon was, okay? Even though that he's, I think he's had his initial hearing in front of the court so far. Like, this guy was snatched up in fucking moments, okay? Obviously, and we knew everything about him. Well, we knew some things, okay, and then those were retracted, and then new information was put out, and then that was retracted. Actually, you know what? Hey, man, we know who he is because we've seen a picture of him, but we don't actually know who he is, so that's why we called him the Shrink, I guess. Humanity has no shortage of political violence in our long history, from Brutus to John Wilkes Booth, hero, and Lee Harvey Oswald, and there are many instances of a mentally ill acting violently towards political leaders, such as when Jodie Foster obsessed to John Hinckley Jr. shot and almost assassinated Ronald Reagan. Yes, ow, I got shot, what? Or when paranoid schizophrenic Jared Lee Loughner, oh my god, they all have 3 names except for Brutus, because, obviously. He shot Congresswoman Gabby Giffords and killed 6 others in 2021. Yes, Gabby Giffords, Congresswoman Gabby Giffords, one of the most stringent Second Amendment constrictors that are out there. And you know who she's married to? Senator Mark Kelly. Yeah, no, really fucking weird coinky of a goddamn dink right there. And you take a look at that story, oh boy, it's got more holes than, well, probably the back end of Paul Pelosi's underwear, if we're going to keep it a book. Unhinged, James Hodgkins shot House Majority Whip Steve Scalise. Oh, do we want to talk about him? What was his political affiliations? I'm just wondering if somebody on the Bernie campaign or something like that, and who was an ardent Trump hater, even in the early days of all of that stuff, because that was a congressional ball game. Just not that long after everybody was sworn in 2017. Don't want to paint anybody else out there. Okay, you just want to give him the unhinged. Okay, you want to give him the with credit that's out there. You just don't want to elaborate on anything like that. Okay, doesn't quite fit a narrative. But recently with the attack of Paul Pelosi, did he get shot? Because everybody else is with the exception of Brutus, obviously. Okay, everybody else that was done with the old fucking handgun. Well, no. Booth was a handgun. I thought that was Oswald and his friends, those were rifles, right? Okay. Oh yes, the attack of Paul Pelosi, we're seeing a different variant of political violence. Oh my God, this new strain also contains ideological zealotry and mental illness. Again, James Hodgkins, mental illness. Somebody who thought that he was in love with, 14-year-old Jodie Foster at the time? Oh, okay, cool. Now it's ideological zealotry and mental illness, lines that couldn't be connected before. Do you think we're stupid? Anyways. But we are also witnessing how social media can act as an accelerant to inflame and incite these individuals to acts of violence. Cool. Is this another one of these violent video games are creating killers scenarios? Great. We saw a social media effect last May when Peyton S. Gedron, an 18-year-old self-described white replacement conspiracy theorist. Oh, yeah, right. That's the Buffalo shooter. It's like, yeah, that dude was fucking nuts. He live streamed his massacre on Twitch, which I don't know if that was the TOS violation or not, but that was up for a minute. Anyways, Gedron had written his manifesto that had been radicalized on a notorious social media platform, 4chan. Oh my God, the hacker 4chan is at it again while bored during the coup. Oh, okay, the coup. Everybody was locked down by what type of politicians? But anyways, what crazy fucker out there in Buffalo have to do with an attack the literal opposite side of the country? I'm just wondering right here, by somebody with completely different motives that we don't even know concretely in any specific way. But if you want to point out manifestos, about the funniest one is written by the prophet Matt Harris. It's got a very funny and liberal use of the certain type of pejorative, about 10,000 instances of it. It's only 800 pages. Come on, it's just a little light reading. From what we know about Paul Pelosi's alleged attacker, DePape, he was a homeless, delusional 42-year-old who posted hundreds of blogs that include rants about an invisible fairy. All right, and screeds against black and Jewish people. I thought that was one and the same now. Okay, cool. I've been listening to too much Kyrie Irving and Kanye West. And well as other social media fueled fanatical ideas. Okay, cool. If he was writing screeds against black and Jewish people, why did he attack an old Italian? Just wondering. Well, you see, the Moors. In the past, we've had mass media that have been the capacity to spread hateful ideas or incite the unstable. Think Mein Kampf. Oh my God. What does this have to do with some fat fuck who is a really shit amateur carpenter? I don't really see the connections here. But now, the power of modern technology not only casts a wider digital net, it employs insidious algorithms like heat-seeking missiles specifically target the vulnerable and susceptible, many of whom live in isolated social media echo chambers and are sent increasingly provocative content. Bruh. Like I've said before, and I just do this mostly for experimentation, okay? I clean out my, YouTube gimmicks or whatever search features. Sorry, my little fucking, charging cable ended up getting, caught on something. But anyways, I just run my shit back every once in a while, and I'm just going to check, okay, what I get recommended right up at the top. Just, refreshing it and all that stuff too. Film threat video by Woke Hollywood. Okay, cool. When was the last time I made a media video? But anyways, regardless, okay, Kyrie Irving suspended. See, that one's actually relevant, okay? And then I got James May finds the ultimate sausage sandwich. Okay, cool. And this is all on a blank history gimmick. Okay, so 3 years later, Game of Thrones, the World's 22 Finals Countdown. Holy fuck, a lot of people are watching that shit. I think that's League of Legends or some shit like that. And then, yeah, just a detransition story. Like, oh, okay, cool. Yeah, I'm getting sent increasingly and more increasingly inflammatory shit. Again, it's just all of these fucking op-eds that are out there. It's like, trust me, bro, I'm a doctor. I got a PhD. I'm big smart or something like that. Toxic content and political vitriol is what feed the social media beast. Social media beast? Or mass media, because I think you're conflating the two here for a second. I'm just saying. While feeding it back into a turbocharged fashion as users in a contentious extremification loop. Are you really going to stand on this fucking dead kid's grave right here? You going to pull a Piers Morgan? That's interesting. We already know social media makes emotionally or psychologically unwell people more unwell. Yeah, no, exactly. And they spend an awful lot of time on these shitty fucking platforms interacting with equally shitty individuals. It's almost like you could apply another principle on top of that. You become the sum, okay? It's the old saying, the old axiom, okay? You are the summation of the 5 people that you spend the most time with, okay? If you surround yourself with 5 millionaires, you will become the 6th. If you spend most of your time around 5 mentally ill individuals, I got news for you. You're retarded. Indeed, thanks to the Facebook whistleblower. Oh, this bitch. Oh my god, we're getting so much Trump content. That was, the Facebook whistleblower. Oh my god. Get the fuck out of here. I even forget her entire story, but this bitch was everywhere. She was the first whistleblower to get her very own congressional hearings. Imagine that. The fucking red carpet wasn't exactly rolled out for Edward Snowden or Julian Assange, but hey, Francis Hulk Hogan there. She got the fucking Queen's treatment because she was all about, we need to just censor all of these platforms because I knew somebody who was talking big crazy stuff about supporting Trump and I didn't like that, so we need to fix all this stuff that's going on. Oh, fuck off. We know that Instagram has its own internal research indicating the viewing Instagram increased suicidality in teen girls and inflamed their eating disorders. All right, bet. And in September, a British coroner concluded for the first time ever that social media has contributed to a person's suicide. Yeah, that doesn't seem like a political motivated diagnosis at all. How could a coroner, somebody who looks specifically at the body, okay, you could determine if somebody committed suicide by putting a gun in their mouth, hanging themselves, or having information that could lead to the arrest of Hillary Clinton. You could determine all of that shit. How do you know about the thought process that would lead to ultimately taking your life? How would you know that, okay? So just fucking stop at this point, okay? Like, there's nothing more to this, okay? Because this guy's he's theorizing, okay? But then again, at the same time, like, it's sad that this girl, okay, I think she was 14 years old and whatever, she killed herself, apparently after being radicalized or, just constantly shown inflammatory content on social media, and now her useless fuck father is just out there just trying to censor the world. It's like, bro, you fucking failed as a father to begin with, okay? If you would have been doing your job, your daughter would still be alive. Sucks to suck. You should probably hear this fucking tough talk. But these are idiots. These are absolute fucking idiots. Every single one here, from the author to your different examples that you had. They all should have been raised better. They all should have fucking known better than to do all of this fuck shit. But here's the tough thing. You're speculating on things that you actually don't know. And then when we figure something out, well, it's kind of censored off the face of the earth. Funny thing about this, NBC News pulls report claiming Paul Pelosi didn't indicate emergency to the cops. Yeah, there was a report that was out there that kind of led to the whole thing, the first thing, that the police officers, San Francisco police officers, when they responded to the 911 call placed by Paul Pelosi, where he referred to himself and a friend who were just hanging out, and things were getting a little heated, so we could use a little bit of backup, okay? It was coded language. Maybe it was. Maybe it wasn't. But then in the police report, it said that somebody, a third-party person, opened up the door for them. And it's like, wait a minute, there's another person in there, and there's Paul, and there's DePape wrestling over a hammer in their skivvies. Interesting story that you have there, but no, don't worry, it's gone now. They just pulled the plug on that one. NBC News pulled a report Friday that claimed House Speaker Nancy Pelosi's husband did not let... yet didn't let on that he was in danger when the cops showed up at his home just prior to the hammer attack. The now deleted clip said Paul Pelosi, 82 years old, answered the door for the cops and responded to a 911 call at the San Francisco, I don't need that popped up, thank you, San Francisco home, but the officers were seemingly unaware that they had been called to the home of the Speaker of the House. Pelosi didn't declare an emergency or try to leave, but instead walked several feet back from the foyer toward armed attacker David DePape, who had broken into his home last Friday carrying a hammer, sources told NBC. And who would those sources be? Oh, unless, like I know some people think that God is everywhere around you, unless he was filing these fucking witness statements, those were coming from the cops. So I would consider that fairly reliable in this scenario. The report, which cited sources familiar with the matter, said it wasn't clear that Pelosi's mental state or that he had already been hurt. Yeah, so he was all fine. He was all well and good, and it'd be very easy to kind of correlate, and it would be very easy to corroborate many of these stories that were out there if you would just, hey man, release any of the footage that's out there. But yeah, we got more on that in a second. An NBC report on Friday was taken down with the explanation, sorry, nothing to see here, okay? Published by our editor-in-chief, Baghdad Bob. It's fine, everything's great. The piece should not have aired because it did not meet NBC News' reporting standards. Didn't those motherfuckers just have to redact like a few dozen? I thought it was more than that, but I can be safe by saying a few dozen articles because they had an open plagiarist on the editorial staff. Now this doesn't meet the reporting standards. Okay, people familiar with it and the people that were reporting there, you could just go to the author of this story. Okay, the editor-in-chief could just go off to the journalist who initially reported all this stuff and corroborate the sources that way. Okay, you could do that. You really could do that. But no, we'll just take it all down. Don't worry, just listen to the current information that's out there. Paul was assaulted by somebody who broke into the mansion, which I have no idea how that works. Okay, Nancy Pelosi, civil servant, gets to live on Billionaires fucking Row in San Francisco. Make that one make sense. But hey man, she's just really lucky when it comes to the stock market. But yeah, no, Pape, he broke in. Okay, no other clothing was found at the scene or anything like that. He just simply broke into his skivvies, wielding a hammer, and all of that, using that hammer, okay, to break in that patio door, that glass patio door, taking all of those shards of glass and throwing them back outside just to make it look like he was, or the break-in happened from the inside outward instead of from the outside inward. Don't have to worry about any of that stuff. Just listen to the official word that's out there until the official word ends up becoming unsustainable, and then they redact that. The report contradicts court documents filed by in DePape's case that said Pelosi nervously but calmly greeted the officers in a dimly lit foyer where both men stood. Yeah, it contradicts the official line, and we believe the official line, right? Okay, hey man, safe and effective. We're just going to go ahead and repeat all of the official lines that are out there because I love the government and I love siding with all of the right opinions, okay? So safe and effective. Most secure election ever, 81 million votes, can't be wrong, and Paul Pelosi was nervous and didn't know his attacker. Yep, good, great, good. An officer asked what is going on, and DePape responded, everything's good, before a flashlight revealed that he was holding a hammer in one hand and Pelosi's arm in the other. And then they were like, yeah, everything seems fine. It just seems like the Speaker of the House there, the Speaker of the House's husband is just, why is he naked? Except for the underwear. Why is he naked, though? Why are you doing this? Okay. They couldn't quite figure all that stuff out. It was dimly lit to the point that they needed a flashlight to identify everybody in there. Okay. The account on NBC report did not say whether DePape was holding Pelosi's arm when the cops arrived. Okay. Mr. Pelosi had his hand on the top of the handle near the hammer itself. An officer yelled for DePape to drop the hammer, and the madman replied, nope, before he wrestled the hammer free from Pelosi's grip, stepped back, and lunged at the elderly man to strike him in the head full force, according to court papers. Why didn't the police, if they knew that this situation, which again, this just kind of makes it funny, and maybe we're just Monday morning quarterbacking all this stuff, okay? Like it's a small enclosed area, but you wouldn't think that the lead officer, the lead detective that shows shows up at the door. Don't know if they were detectives or just simple officers. Probably just officers, but whatever. Okay, they see a scuffle end up happening, and then this dude manages to get the hammer and then just fucking wind up to go, like they say there, full force. Why was there no taser deployed? Okay, like if they just opened up the door, okay, and then they got into the foyer, there would have been space enough to deploy the taser. Okay, but then at the same time, okay, there's a bunch of shit that doesn't really make sense, but it'd be very simple, okay, for everybody involved to clean up this scenario by just releasing body cam footage, releasing security tape footage. Well, we can't get security tape footage, remember, because all the security cameras were turned off, and guess what? We ain't getting the body cam footage either. San Francisco DA won't release police body cam footage, 911 call from Paul Pelosi attack. I wonder why. I wonder the fuck why. This is supposed to be going to trial sometime in the future, after all this stuff kind of calms down, and maybe this can just go quietly into the night. Eventually charges will get dropped and all that stuff, and never have to worry about body cam footage, never have to worry about a 911 phone call or anything like that. Just wait until the midterms are all said and done, and might see some movement on this case. I'm just thinking, I'm just putting that out into the ether right there. I have nothing to back that up, just my thoughts, and just trying to connect the dots, because nobody else is gonna fucking let you. San Francisco's top prosecutor confirmed Wednesday her office will not release police body cam footage or 911 calls from the alleged Paul Pelosi attack late last week. Yeah, I'm starting to think that NBC report, yeah, man, it might be a little bit more correct than the official line that's out there. Authorities said that David DePape allegedly broke into the San Francisco home of House Speaker Nancy Pelosi and her husband during the early morning hours, like 2:20 in the morning or some shit like that. No security cam footage, or police body camera footage, or 911 call has been released. Wild. Fucking wild. And you expect us to believe that this was all a radicalization attempt, okay? That these big tech algorithms need to be stopped. They need to be censored, okay? Because the censorship towards information seems to have worked fairly well in this case so far. So why not a little dollop for everybody else, okay? But at the same time, man, isn't that a little bit bigoted, okay? Because now you're calling for the censorship of a gay man? Oh, man, that's just real tough. Dr. Nicholas Caritas, man, stop being such a bigot, bro. With all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.